Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to have a chat about ivermectin for skin and specifically rosacea. Yes, that ivermectin that got a little bit of a reputation during the pandemic. So before we get started, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for all your support. So let's dive in. Ivermectin, also, it's been called a horse dewormer, horse paste, that got its rep because during the pandemic, there were lots of fights and controversy about whether it could help, whether it might not. So anyway, some of that conversation is still ongoing, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the uses for ivermectin for the skin and specifically for rosacea, where it's actually can be quite an effective treatment. So to begin with, rosacea is a reactive skin condition. It's an inflammatory skin condition. It's not one that we fully understand what causes it, but we do know that it's associated with redness. It may be associated with acne-like breakouts, texture, and there are multiple types of rosacea. And it's something that often it comes and it goes and it has multiple triggers. It has a genetic association, and so if someone in your family has it, you're more likely to have it. It's quite a common skin condition, and it's most common in women than men. But with rosacea, it can be quite debilitating for a lot of people, especially if it's always there. And it's very difficult, especially if the skin is very sensitive, and it can be basically brought about by almost anything that slightly irritates or upsets the skin. So where does ivermectin come in, I hear you ask? So ivermectin is a medication that's been around for a long time. It was initially discovered as a anti-parasite medicine, and it's quite effective, and originally discovered for horses. In humans, it was found to be effective against a mite that normally lives on our skin called the dermodex mite. And these mites live on the skin, they're invisible to the eye, but they're thought to be, so although we don't know the exact full mechanism of rosacea, they're thought to trigger the inflammatory process that causes rosacea. And so ivermectin can actually kill these mites, and that is the main pathway that is thought to help with rosacea. As well as its action on the mites, an indirect result of that is it's also an anti-inflammatory. It has anti-inflammatory properties, and so that also helps with reducing the redness and especially things like the acne-like bumps that can happen in pustular rosacea. And so studies have shown over time that ivermectin used as a cream can relieve the symptoms, the redness, the bumps associated with some forms of rosacea. Research shows that ivermectin is even more effective than other rosacea treatments like metronidazole. They can actually be used together in cases, particularly difficult cases of rosacea. Alongside ivermectin, if you use metronidazole, which is an antibiotic, they both kind of augment each other's effects, and you get a fairly effective outcome. And you can have reduction in the appearance of rosacea, flare-ups. It is typically used once a day as a cream and applied to the areas where there's rosacea, and usually for a few weeks at a time. It's not something that you stay on for the long term. It's a treatment for a specific amount of time. Whilst ivermectin is generally safe, remember that rosacea is also kind of, skin tends to be reactive, it tends to be sensitive, and it can cause things like irritation and even in some cases allergic reactions. So these are things to be aware of, and your doctor will monitor you for these. And this sounds good, and it is really good. It's really important to remember that ivermectin is really its main benefits tend to be in kind of papulopustular rosacea, so the one with the bumps and the acne, rather than just your standard redness only rosacea, which is kind of the most which is one type of rosacea. So it's really not not effective for that. It's not tends to be not particularly effective for things like rhinophyma, but its main use, if it's going to work, it's in that. And unfortunately, it doesn't work for everybody. So that's something else to bear in mind. And it can take time to work if it does work. It's also not a long-term solution, and it may be that it's something that if it works for you, you have to cycle between using it and not using it. And you will, of course, need something usually in the interim, things like acetic acid perhaps, or something else that can help manage your skin. It's also, again, obviously a prescription-only medication and should only be used under careful supervision. It is your skin after all, and you don't want to wreck it. I hope you found this useful. I thought it's something worth talking about because I think it's not something that's talked about enough, but it's worth, in conditions like rosacea where there isn't a definitive treatment, it's worth knowing all of the things that are available. If you're interested in learning more, I'm going to leave some links below to some content I've prepared on rosacea and on ivermectin as well. I've written an article on that, so I'll leave a link to it. If you have any questions or you want to share anything, please leave a comment below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until next time, stay beautiful.